Okay, so we're going to do 12.7, solving rational equations. Rational equations is an equation that contains one or more rational expressions. When you're solving rational equations, you have to make sure to check for extraneous solutions. We've had this before. Extraneous solutions are numbers that is not a solution of the original equation. So you need to kind of go back and check to make sure all the solutions work. The method that we're going to use for solving rational equations is cross-multiplying. You use cross-multiplying when you have two ratios equal to each other or when you're solving a proportion, and that's essentially what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be using cross-multiplication here. Because essentially what we have are two equal fractions, so we are going to take and cross-multiply these. So I'm going to get 5 times x is equal to 3 times the quantity of x minus 2. Make sure you distribute that 3. So I get 5x is equal to 3x minus 6. Subtract 3x. I'm going to get 2x is equal to negative 6. Divide by 2. X is equal to a negative 3. I'm going to go ahead and check that, make sure that it works. So if I check this, I'm going to get 5 over negative 3 minus 2 is equal to 3 over a negative 3. This is going to be 5 over negative 5 is equal to 3 over negative 3, which is negative 1 equal to negative 1. So that works. So this is a solution. Let's do one more here. We're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to get, let me switch here. I'm going to get 4h is equal to 2 times the quantity of h plus 1. So 4h is equal to 2h plus 2. Subtract the 2h. And I'm going to get 2h is equal to 2. H is equal to 1. If I go ahead and check that, I'm going to get 4 over 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 over 1. 4 over 2 is equal to 2. 2 is equal to 2. So this is a solution to our rational equation. I just have a few more examples. One of the examples is dealing with a quadratic, so you're going to want to make sure you watch that one. Let's go through these 3 last examples and then we'll be done. So once again, we're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to have 6 times x minus 4 is equal to 5x. Distribute the 6, I get 6x minus 24 is equal to 5x. Subtract 5x, I'm going to get x and move the 24 over. I get x is equal to 24. If I check this for my solutions, make sure it's not extraneous. 24 minus 4 over 5 is equal to 24 over 6. This gives me 20 over 5, 24 over 6. I'm going to get 4 is equal to 4. So this is a solution. So those 3 are all pretty basic. They're all linear equations. The biggest thing you have to remember there to do is distribute. On the next 2, we're going to have quadratic. So let's look here. We're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to get 12x is equal to x squared. So now I have an x squared situation here. So I need to set everything equal to 0. So I'm going to move the 12x over, set it equal to 0, and I'm going to factor out an x. So I need to factor out an x. So I'm going to get x is equal to x minus 12. So I'm going to set them both equal to 0. So I have a solution of x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 12. I'm going to check these. If I plug in a 0, I'm going to get a 0 in the denominator. This is undefined. So we cannot plug in x is equal to 0. If I plug in 12, I'm going to get 12 over 12 squared, which is equal to 1 over x. So this is going to be, 1 over 12. So I get 12 over 144 is equal to 1/12, or 1/12 is equal to 1/12. So this is a solution. And finally, our last one here. This was our check over here. Let's look at the last one here. This is the most difficult. We're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to get 2 times x squared minus 1 is equal to x minus 6 times x plus 1. So I need to FOIL here and distribute. I'm going to distribute the 2. That gives me 2x squared minus 2. And I need to FOIL these two binomials. So I'm going to get x squared plus x minus 6x minus 6. So I'm dealing with a quadratic here, so I need to clean things up and set it equal to 0. So I'm going to combine like terms. So I get x squared minus 5x minus 6. I'm going to move everything to the left side. So I get 2x squared minus x squared plus 5x plus 6 minus 2 equals 0. So I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to get x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0. I have a quadratic here which can factor. What multiplies to 4 adds to 5 is going to be x plus 1, x plus 4. So if I solve this, I'm going to set each of these equal to 0, and I'm going to get x is equal to a negative 1, and x is equal to a negative 4. So that was a little bit longer, a little more work there. We now need to check for extraneous solutions. So I'm going to do 2 over negative 1 plus 1 equals negative 1 minus 6 over negative 1 squared minus 1. Right away, I know that this isn't going to work because I'm going to end up with a denominator of 0, which we cannot have. So that means negative 1 doesn't work. So we can't have 0 in the denominator. So let's try negative 4. So I'm going to have 2 over negative 4 plus 1 equals negative 4 minus 6 over negative 4 squared minus 1. So here I'm going to get 2 over negative 3. This is going to give me negative 10 over negative 4 squared is 16. 16 minus 1 is 15. 2 over negative 3. This simplifies. If I divide top and bottom by 5, I'm going to get 2 over negative 3. So that works. So x is equal to negative 4 is a solution. So that's all we're going to do with this chapter. So this is your last topic here. Let me know if you have questions.